Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
The Saratoga City Council meeting, an inside look at the decisions that affect you and our community.
Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting for Tuesday, April 6, 2021. It is 6:55. We have 3 public hearings tonight. The first public hearing is on the capital budget amendment for Geyser Road Trail. On 7/7/2020, the City Council unanimously voted to sign a memorandum of understanding with Capital District Transportation Authority to install new infrastructure for bus stations at the intersection of Route 50 and Geyser Road intended to serve Saratoga Spa State Park, SPAC, and associated facilities. If anybody would like to speak on that right now, please raise your hand. And at this time, we will close that public hearing and we'll move on to our second public hearing, which is a hearing New York State Power Authority Energy Service Program, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Madigan.
Thank you, Mayor. This is to amend the capital budget to reflect the cost of the $2.87 million bond for energy efficient and upgraded streetlights, which will save the city over the course of the bond approximately $33,000 a year. And once the bond is paid off, we anticipate a $300,000 per year savings thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you. If anybody'd like to speak on that, please raise their hand at this time. Is there anybody in there, Lisa? Yeah. Okay, then we will be closing this also this evening, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The third public hearing is on the Saratoga Springs Community Development Citizens Advisory Committee for 2021 Annual Block Grant Action Plan. On 3/29/21, the council listened to Rich Ferguson of the CDCAC present their recommendations for the annual block grant action plan. At the city council meeting, we will vote at the next city council meeting, we will vote on these recommendations. If anybody has any comments on these recommendations, please raise your hand if you would like to speak. Okay, so we have no one to speak on that public hearing also. So at this time, we will wait until 7 o'clock to start our meeting. It's a little over a minute to go and we'll get going. So at that time, we'll start our regular scheduled meeting. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask our secretary for roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank?
Present.
Commissioner Madigan?
Present.
Commissioner Scirocco?
He's muted, Lisa. Okay.
I can't, oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yep, okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dalton? Mayor Kelly?
Here.
Supervisor Veach? Supervisor Gaston.
Here.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is our public comment period. I ask that you try to keep your comments brief, up to 2 minutes. There will be a bell to signify the end of your time. I ask that your comments be brief and there is no yielding to another person. Please be respectful and address the council as a whole. As a reminder, public comment is not a dialogue or discussion with the council members. However, at the end of the public comment period, any council member may comment or respond back. If you would want to comment, please raise your hand by Zoom, and you can find that button in the participants or reactions area of the toolbar on the bottom of your Zoom window. We will call your name and ask for your name and city. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand. Okay, at this time, we don't have anybody raising their hand, so we will close the public comment period and we're going to turn it over to Tina Carton, the Administrator of Parks, Open Lands, Historic Preservation, Sustainability for the City of Saratoga Springs, to make a brief presentation on the open space plan. Tina?
Hi. Hi, this is Tina Carton. I'm actually trying to share my screen.
Your screen is up there.
Oh, you see it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will get out of that. So I wanted to introduce everyone. We're extremely excited. The open space plan launch is updated. The last time the open space plan was updated was in 2002. Let me progress to the next slide. I'm having a hard time here. So the roadmap for updating the open space plan is to engage residents and property owners. We're utilizing data that was put together from the natural resource inventory to develop criteria for prioritizing potential acquisitions and lands to preserve in the future in Saratoga Springs. We have hired a consultant, MJ Engineering, to be the one who is helping us create the plan. They're going to be developing a conservation analysis tool and mapping, showing us these priority areas. The areas are going to identify priority open spaces, environmental sensitive areas, scenic or recreational areas for protection, preservation, or enhancement. The plan will identify strategies and tools as well as funding mechanisms moving forward. To put the plan together, the city created a steering committee, and the steering committee is made up of representation from the Open Space Advisory Committee, the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, from the Spa State Park, the City Center Board, Saratoga Plan, the Saratoga Springs City School District, and the Recreation Committee. City staff is also assisting, as well as the team from MJ Engineering, who is preparing the materials, providing the technical expertise, and coordinating with the city and the committee strategically to put this plan together. The first step in updating the open space plan is to gather community feedback, and that's the step where we are right now. We're trying to create inclusive partnerships with stakeholders throughout the region, collaborating and informing strategic plan decision-making, and building a long-term capacity for civic engagement around open space. The cornerstone currently for updating the open space plan, and what we're really excited today to talk about, is the launch of a dedicated website. So MJ Engineering assisted the city and the Open Space Steering Committee to put together Saratoga Springs OpenSpaces.com. Saratoga Springs OpenSpaces.com has all of the background information that residents, businesses, and visitors from Saratoga Springs would want to know about the history of open space in Saratoga Springs, the history of all of the planning activities, and the thing I wanted to point out most with this website right now is the survey. And the survey for the open space plan is embedded right within the website. So if you were to go to the website, you can find out exactly who is in the steering committee, as well as participate in the survey by simply clicking on the community survey link, and it'll take you straight to the survey. I've already taken the survey, so it's not here. But the survey is extremely important for everyone to respond to because the city has changed a lot since 2002, the last time the open space plan was updated. The first plan was in 1994. Since then, the city has done the conservation easement on the Pitney Farm, purchased property around Lochbury Lake to protect the watershed. We've purchased the Blodgett property to be able to utilize the Cateros Creek, and people launch kayaks there. And also the Corcoran property, which is down next to Milton. So there are what opportunities lying forward, and also one of the reasons that it's so important to have the Rec Commission and the Spa State Park, as well as Saratoga Plan involved in this moving forward, is we really want to hear from the community. What are your priorities for open space going to be moving forward? And I think the survey really helps capture that. We're trying to get over 1,000 respondents. We've launched the survey, and the survey responses are due by April 16th. The survey does not collect any personal data, so feel free to respond. We're just looking for, your age group, if you live in the city, do you work in the city, just a few data points like that about you, but we're not keeping your email address or any other personal data on you. We also are very interested in getting children. It's mostly going to be high schoolers. The survey is written to the point where I don't think grade school children could easily read through this, but we really are trying to get all age groups to respond to the survey. And if you have any questions about the update of the open space plan, you have any questions about the survey, you would like to get involved in spreading the word, you can get in touch with me. I'm the administrator of Parks, Open Lands, Historic Preservation, and Sustainability. I am on the city's website. Also, information about the open space plan and open space plan update are available on the city's website as well. But I really look forward to citizens and businesses responding to our survey and hearing what residents want moving forward with open space in Saratoga Springs. We wouldn't have the Spa State Park, Congress Park, High Rock, and all of the other wonderful amenities if it wasn't for planning in the past. And we'd like to plan for our community as it builds into the future. So thank you very much, Mayor Kelly, for allowing me to speak. And I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Tina. That was great. And I just want to say that, today I was out and about doing my mayoral thing, and I was at Pitney Farm, I was in the state park, and I was on Geyser Trail. So that was my day today. So it was all these great things that you are working on day in and day out. And I so appreciate you and your committees and all the work that you do for Saratoga Springs. It will go on forever because of the great staff and the volunteers that we have in this city. Any other comments from the council?
Also just wanted to say, I appreciate your note about the survey and not collecting people's personal information, because actually I think that's been a concern over the last couple of months. There's been a lot of surveys going out. So I just appreciate you adding that one little bit in there. Gives people a nice degree of comfort.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually have the confidentiality clause right in the beginning of the survey, because I did hear that feedback lately about some of the surveys that were going on, and I wanted to make sure that everybody felt comfortable and they were really allowed to freely give their opinion without, worrying about people identifying them.
Well, thank you so much for all your hard work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tina.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Tina, for everything that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tina. Have a good night. Moving right on to our consent agenda. Are there any edits as described? I move that the City Council approve the consent agenda as included with this agenda. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. On to the Mayor's Department. My first item is discussion and vote accept $200 donation from Athena M. DiLorenzo Ryan, proceeds from her Athena's basketball camps. Athena M. DiLorenzo Ryan wishes to donate $200 proceeds from her Athena's basketball camps. I move that the City Council accept the donation of $200 from Athena M. DiLorenzo Ryan. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The matter passes. My next item is discussion and vote, accept George and Martha Parker donation of $2,000. This is a donation from George and Martha Parks for Parker for scholarships for children in need. And I can tell you that since I have been here, they have done donations like this every year, and I so appreciate Martha and George. I move that the City Council accept the donation of $2,000 from George and Martha Parker. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. My third item is discussion and vote, accept $10,000 donation from Saratoga County Children's Committee for camp scholarships. The Saratoga County Children's Committee has donated $10,000 towards camp scholarships. I move that the City Council accept the donation of $10,000 from Saratoga County's Children's Committee for camp scholarships. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. My fourth item is discussion and vote, accept Stewart's Holiday Match donation of $5,500. This donation from Stewart's Holiday Match is for volleyball system, game room, camp, and program equipment, and camp program scholarships for children in need. I move that the City Council accept the donation of $5,500 from Stewart's Holiday Match donation. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stewards. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. My next item is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign youth service project amendment to the agreement with County of Saratoga. The Saratoga Springs Recreation Department is requesting authorization for the mayor to sign youth service project amendment to the agreement with the County of Saratoga. The county will sponsor the city's youth service project and pay the city a sum not to exceed $7,821 from the Office of Children and Family Services funds requested. This is an increase in funding from the 12/15/2020 City Council approval. I move that the City Council approve the youth service project amendment to the agreement with the County of Saratoga. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes. My sixth item is discussion and vote, Recreation Center Ice Rink Program templates from the Recreation Commission. The Recreation Department is requesting approval of its annual templates revocable license for the use of the City of Saratoga Springs Ice Rinks and Rec Center with updates including the revised pandemic operations plans. The fees are updated based on the City Council approval rates. Payment terms are updated. The department is looking to have a 50-50 revenue split of the summer tennis clinic revenue, less city expenses with the Saratoga Regional YMCA. The templates are revised from the previous agreements to include the revised pandemic plans. I move that the City Council approve the Recreation Center Ice Rink Program templates from the Recreation Commission. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes. My seventh item is discussion and vote, capital budget amendment for Geyser Road Trail. The city has a memorandum of understanding with the Capital District Transportation Authority for reimbursement for costs of these improvements not to exceed $100,000. This increase for the new infrastructure bus stations at the intersections of Route 50 and Geyser Road intend to serve Saratoga Spa State Parks, SPAC, and associated facilities. I move that the City Council approve the capital budget amendment for Geyser Road Trail. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? The matter passes. My next item is approval to pay invoice to GPI for Geyser Road Trail project. Work on the Geyser Road Trail in the amount of $98,946.81 has been completed and invoiced. However, there was no purchase order established. Funds are available in the budget line H3517142-52000-1200. I move that the City Council approve the payment of invoices to GPI for Geyser Road Trail project. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. My ninth item is discussion and vote. Mayor to sign change order number 3 with William Keller for Geyser Road Trail. William Keller change order number 3 is to cover overages and introduce new items at no cost to the contract. I move that the City Council approve William Keller change order number 3 for the Geyser Road Trail. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. My next item is an announcement, the UDO final draft. I wanted to let the council and the public know that we were expecting the final draft of the UDO to be released April 19th with a presentation at the April 20th City Council meeting. Additional presentations to the public and a joint meeting of the land use boards will be scheduled on April 21 and 22. Presentations will be live streamed and available for later viewing on the city website. At this time, we expect the council will consider merit for review of the final UDO draft at the first meeting in May, requesting advisory opinions from the city and county planning boards and the DRC. Details will be posted on the UDO page on our website as they become available. My next item is...
Mayor?
Yes.
So it's very interesting that the timeliness now of the UDO. And of course, we know the governor has now legalized marijuana and I know cannabis distribution. And I know that was something that the UDO is taking up. I'm not quite sure where we landed on that. And maybe I can get more information as we go through the review process. But as I recall, I think we are restricting, but I don't know if we can answer this right now, dispensaries on Broadway.
I am not at liberty to answer that question because I'm not going to put myself on the spot, but I will get that answer out after I talk to my team.
Yeah, it's at some point we probably want to visit this discussion because we've all seen pictures of dispensaries that aren't set up quite right and they get overrun with traffic and small roads get overrun with traffic. So,
yes, I agree.
It's all timely. Yeah,
we have had conversations about it. I just don't know. I don't know if it really landed yet.
And public safety is planning on talking to the group about, what the implications are for public safety in general, not just where the location of dispensaries are, but certainly something we're going to be addressing very soon, together.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that I do believe that the county has to has to say that they have to approve us as a county.
They don't now.
They're not.
Nope. So the legislation has changed. It's all very new. It's changing rapidly. And I believe, and so the council is probably going to want to discuss this as a planning piece.
Yeah.
But I believe our UDO is taking into account dispensaries.
It is.
I don't know if we've yet to discuss things such as cafes that may also be like coffee shops, tea shops that may also be able to sell on site for youth cannabis. And
let me
just see your face there, Vince, because if there's anything you could add,
let me bring in Vince. Vince might have a little bit more. He sits on the UDO board, so
exactly. And I have been asked by the media to comment, so it's very timely, the legalization, the UDO process, and I do think the public is going to be interested in this topic as it pertains to Saratoga Springs and being a resort community and how we're going to handle this issue going forward.
It is timely, and you'll recall during prior presentations, the subject came up and we indicated that we anticipated this would be coming, and now it's here. So unlike our current zoning ordinance, the UDO does define marijuana dispensaries and provides for its zoning. I believe in the UDO, we call it out in the T5 zoning district as well as in the Gateway commercial district. So it's addressed there, it's defined, and so that's something that Camiros will go into much greater detail, but it is something that was addressed as an anticipated item coming down the road.
Great. Thank you. That was helpful.
And we'll have more on that as we get the final draft in.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, thank you. My next item is an announcement. Land Use Board seeks interested people to serve. These are mayoral appointments. There are 3 land use boards in the city. Its members comprise of local citizens who make recommendations regarding land use, designs, and development in Saratoga Springs. As 2021 gets underway, I'm looking for some new members throughout the year, so please go to our website and fill out the application that is online. My next item is a proclamation for celebration of National Community Development Week. Let's see. Whereas in 1974, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development implemented the Community Development Block Grant Program for the purpose of providing local governments with resources to assist low and moderate income persons. And whereas since the city of Saratoga Springs has administered the CDBG program to identify, prioritize, and resolve many pressing local problems, the program has made a great impact in our city, creating jobs, funding housing and public building rehabilitation, building affordable housing, establishing homelessness prevention initiatives, supporting services and infrastructure improvements. Whereas this year the CDBG program celebrates its 47th anniversary. Our city has been a participant for 27 of those years, and we've received more than 11.5 million in CDBG funds. Now, therefore, I, Meg Kelly, Mayor of Saratoga Springs, am pleased to join with my fellow Saratogians in expressing our appreciation to our own community development department and to all the agencies and individuals who work hard every day to bring the information and resources of the CDBG program to our citizens. And I hereby recognize and proclaim the week of April 5th through the 9th, 2021 as National Community Development Week. My next item is another proclamation bringing awareness to Fair Housing Month. Whereas this April marks the 53rd anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which sought to eliminate discrimination in housing opportunities and to affirmatively further housing choices for all Americans, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. Since then, the New York State law has further added protections based on religion, marital status, sexual orientation, age, and military status, and Violence Against Women's Reauthorization Act of 2013. Added protections for victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Whereas the ongoing struggle for dignity and housing opportunity is not the exclusive province of the federal government, vigorous local efforts to combat discrimination can be effective or even more effective than federal efforts. Whereas illegal barriers to equal opportunities in housing diminish the rights and freedoms of every American. It is our obligation as free citizens to do our part in providing equal housing opportunities to all men and women and to support both the letter and the spirit of state and federal fair housing laws. Now, therefore, I, Meg Kelly, Mayor of Saratoga Springs, hereby recognize and proclaim the month of April 2021 as Fair Housing Month. I would like to add one item, a discussion and vote to add an item. I move that the council approve an addition to my agenda for an alternate appointment to the Design Review Commission. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes. My 14th item is an appointment to the Design Review Commission alternate position. Tonight, I'm appointing Tad Romer as an alternate to the DRC. He brings his expertise as a registered architect with over 30 years' experience. Tad had a broad background in historic and contemporary design, a world traveler. Tad is a Capital Region native who moved back to the area with his family in 2019. And that concludes my agenda. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Frank.
Thank you, Mayor. We just have one item this evening. It's appointment for Barbara Brindisi as a Commissioner of Deeds. Barbara Brindisi is the new Assistant City Clerk. Therefore, I'm appointing her as a Commissioner of Deeds. And that concludes my agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. On to Finance, Commissioner Madigan.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my agenda is an update on city finances. Though the New York State budget has yet to be passed, we're several days late. WNYT is reporting that lawmakers have reached an agreement on the state budget. At this point in time, I am of the belief that VLT will be fully restored to the city of Saratoga Springs. We'll wait to see that absolutely in writing when the budget passes. But that is good news because we budgeted 50% or 1.16 million. And so this will be about 1.16 million more than we budgeted. And that's good news, considering some of our other news. So very pleased about that. So thank you. And thank you to the mayor for all your work also helping to get this funding, this needed funding restored.
Yep,
so as you all know by now, the federal government has delivered the American Rescue Plan in the amount of $1.9 trillion. 350 billion of which is for state and local governments. The formula used to distribute funds among jurisdictions results in our city receiving $7.7 million allocation based on a modified CDBG type formula, as well as now putting the city in a classification known as a metro city. The distribution plan is less promising and less clear. The 7.7 million will be, at the very least, released in 2 installments, which means hopefully we'll get one this year and hopefully we'll get one next year. But there is talk that this could be at the most 4 installments over 4 years. And I am still trying to get more clarification on that. And as I have it, I will give it to you. I will make sure that the council has it. The city's 2021 budget included $5 million this year in federal aid. So if we receive a full half installment payment this year, that'll be about 1.15 million less than budgeted this year. So there's our VLT money. They're almost, one for one. But still, promising, right? We are getting some federal fiscal aid, and we do see VLT, looks like it will be fully restored. In terms of cash flow, we are awaiting several large reimbursements from the state. One is the Geyser Road Trail. I've been in constant contact with the mayor's office about this. We're doing everything we can. That's a large sum of money that will help with our cash flow. VLT distribution, we usually receive that in late June. And it's around the June time period that we're looking at our next potential cash flow crunch. I have asked for meetings with each departments to discuss 2021 adjustments and your 2022 plans. If you haven't scheduled a meeting yet, please do so. I would like to meet with the Public Works Department and the Accounts Department if you feel the need to have one. I think it's a good idea because at least it's not too early to really start thinking about the 2022 budget. The 2021 budget was set and voted on under the assumption that it would be an amendable document. Yeah. While we do not yet have evidence of revenues over amounts budgeted, except for now VLT, I do want to hear from the departments. How are you working with this budget right now? We know that we got to look at amendments first and foremost, which I expressed in this memo that I sent to everyone. The first matter that we have to address is going to be the employee wages. We have to make sure we've got the funds for employee wages that will be due on December 31st and then again on January 1. Then we want to address essential services that may be suffering due to the reduced pandemic budget.
So we will do what we're able, but these meetings are also helpful for planning for 2022. There are a lot of grant opportunities out there right now. I've been receiving emails, grant opportunities, and forwarding them as appropriate. The United States Senate has both member grants and community development grants. Departments should be reaching out to our senators, public safety, public works, community development, for work-related type projects. See what you're able to do. Yeah, yes.
Sorry, I just want to ask a quick question. Maybe this is a conversation we can have another time, but there are a ton of grants out there specifically for public safety that we're aware of. Everyone is so already working above their means, and we don't have anyone in our department who can do grant writing. And I think it would really benefit the entire city for us to consider bringing on someone who could be a permanent grant writer. I think that person would pay for themselves in terms of how many grants are out there that I know this problem is not just exclusive to my department, but it's just something that I think we should consider.
So I agree with that, but it's not so much writing the grant, it's managing the grant.
Managing of the grant.
Right.
So, that's where the time is just enormous. So, but no.
But I think you're right. The other problem is sometimes we go after grants and then we don't always have the resources that we need to work on the grant. So, we do need a team of people looking at grants, and, it is a conversation that we'll have to take offline and have a further discussion about. But there are a lot of grants out there right now. There just are. And there's some communities just have so much money, they don't even know what to do with it. And then the government is issuing lots of grant opportunities right now. Unfortunately for us, we weren't one of those communities that has so much money that, we can hold, have committees and figure out how to spend it, right? We know what we're doing with our money. We're going to make salaries whole.
That was kind of my other quick question for you, is that I know that there are a lot of people who have been coming to me saying like, well, I'm looking at how much money this city got or this city got, but as around us, why did we not get as much as other people? And I didn't know what the simplest way to kind of describe that was. What they look at Glens Falls, for example, and see how much Glens Falls is getting. Do you think it's about 12 million?
It was on the block grant formula.
The block grant formula.
And they have, it's really the poverty line. And, so for instance, Glens Falls has 5 shelters. So they service a lot of people under that line. And we don't have that. We have 1 shelter that's not even open all the time to everybody. So it's quite different. Our poverty level is not at that level of Albany, Schenectady, Troy, Glens Falls, Hudson, all these other communities. It's much higher. And that's how they did it. It's very unfair when you're in a situation like us.
Yeah.
And that's why we didn't get the number that we really needed. But, that was probably the easiest formula for them to go on at that time.
Yeah. And that's why I say all the time, it is based on a modified community development block grant formula, which is based on our population, which is also based on poverty. And it's just not a formula that works in our favor at all. It doesn't take into account our sheer size in terms of square miles, being one of the larger cities in the entire state, right? Like 4th largest. It doesn't take into account, all we have to do to support a very busy tourist season, especially during our summer months, because it's strictly looking at population and poverty. And I don't even think our poverty and homelessness, because of our lack of like a real shelter, is tracked accordingly.
Right.
So it does not work in our favor, this formula.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it's, you say community block development grants to like the average resident, and they're lost already. So this is a really helpful way for me to explain it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Madigan, also, if there's like these grants, because I call almost like pop-up grants because of what's happening with COVID and everything. The group that I forgot, I think it's Caminos or whatever, the group you used out of Malta a couple of years back to do some work.
The revenue study, Camaros, maybe?
Right. They do. I forgot how it's. Yes, I think that's it. They do grant writing and have worked with a lot of the municipalities in Saratoga, Albany County. So that's something you may want to look at too, because I don't know how sustainable it would be over a long period of time of hiring somebody to do it, but they have a very good track record of doing grants.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think when they write the grants, don't they just take a percentage of the grant? I think that's how it works. So it really doesn't cost us anything, and it kind of makes sense to move forward in that direction.
Yeah, they write it into the grantor fee.
Yeah, so I guess then, that would be what department would that fall under? And do we put out an RFP for that? That's what we would do. But who would that fall under?
Probably my suggestion would be through finance if they're willing to do that, because they've worked with that group, and I guess we can put it out to bid to others, or we can do it. I mean, Nancy's basically moved over. She does a lot of our internal state grants, but it's just one idea. There could be other ideas out there.
No, it's an idea. I don't think we're going to solve exactly who's going to be responsible for it right now, but we can figure that out, and that's a conversation that I'm willing to have. So, but we'll take that offline, and maybe an outsourced type of function for grant writing might be the way to go. The big things coming up right now that I'm seeing are water, dams, and we know our dam's going to cost a lot of money. So if we can use a service like Camoin or some service that might help us write a grant so that we can get some funds in to help us with a big, massive, multi-million-dollar project like that we know we have to work on, that would be terrific right there, right? And then we can start to keep our eye on a few other things. Commissioner Dalton, you're saying there's a lot of public safety grants out there. So it may be the individual department, like we could handle the RFP and selecting the group that we work with, but then the individual department that's really looking for the grant funds would need to work with whoever it is that we hire to help us manage the process.
That'd be awesome. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you.
So I know it's time consuming, Commissioner Dalton. That was going to be like my next line, and I know that we are all like pushed to the max right now. So I'm glad that we just had this discussion, and we'll come up with a way of moving forward to ease it's the managing of the grant once you have it that becomes so time consuming. Thank you, Council. Mm-hmm. So item number 2, I am actually removing from my agenda this evening. We don't have the proper insurances in yet, so we will bring that back at the next City Council meeting. And that was for the mayor to sign addendum number 3 with Crown Castle for Recreation Center Ethernet. That was item number 2, right? Okay, item number 3 is a discussion and vote, budget amendment, capital budget for NYPA Master Cost Recovery Agreement for energy efficient streetlights. This is just the capital budget amendment. My next item will be the contract that we will vote on. This item is in reference to my item, to the public hearing we had, the agreement number 4 with NYPA. Lines 1 through 2 reflect budget revisions for city bonded revenue in the amount of $2,870,000 and city expenses for the NYPA Master Cost Recovery Agreement, which will result in the savings that I went over in the public hearing, as well as be is more efficient, significant lighting efficiency. I move that the City Council approve budget amendments, capital budget NYPA Cost Recovery Agreement for energy efficient streetlights as included with the agenda. This is a motion and it does require a roll call vote. If Lisa will please ask for the roll call vote after the second.
Are you on number 5 or number 3?
I'm like really confused.
Okay, I think you're on, you just did number 5. So I just want to make sure we're voting on the right thing. No,
I'm going to have to pull the full agenda up because I can't fit all of that on my screen. I don't know what the actual agenda.
No, but you just read number 5. No, which is the other NYPA.
No.
I have 2 NYPAs on my agenda. Give me 1 second. I got to pull the agenda up because the order changed because I can never seem to get these things right. Okay, here we go. Hold on a second. I got the agenda up now. So, okay, great. So, I should be on item number 3.
Right.
Is Lynn Bachner or my deputy on the telephone on the
Lynn Bachner is on here. So Lynn, can you unmute Lynn Bachner? Okay. Lynn, can you unmute, please? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The agenda that you can see online may be a little different than the agenda that you were sent. I did indeed have to reverse the order because we have to pass the capital budget amendment before we can pass the contract. So Michelle is correct. She is on item number 3. Item number 3 is the budget amendment. You, Mayor, are also correct because on the agenda that I suspect you may be looking at, they were reversed.
Yes, they are. They're reversed on mine, but as long as you make it known that they're reversed, I'm fine. I just want to
they are correct as to what's been uploaded, and I just want everybody is on the same page.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I work off of a very tiny screen and then have to pull the agenda up on my.
I'm sure. Yeah,
So all the we have all the content. We have to reverse order because we have to do the capital budget amendment first, and then we will do the contract. The actual hard copy agenda has us doing the contract first, and then later on in the agenda, the capital budget amendment. Yep. So item number 3 for this evening will be discussion and vote for the budget amendment. So I believe I did make the motion. I could make the motion again if you want to make that clear, or we're waiting on a second and then a roll call vote.
I'll second it. That's fine. And a roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank?
Aye.
Commissioner Madigan?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Scirocco?
Aye.
Commissioner Dalton?
Aye.
And Mayor Kelly?
Aye. The matter passes. Thank you.
Great. And then I see it looks like my next item based on the agenda should be the capital budget for Geyser Road Trail. So I'm going to jump to that, which is my item number 4, discussion and vote budget amendments, capital budget Geyser Road Trail. As the mayor stated in the public hearing this evening on 7/7/2020, City Council unanimously voted to sign a memorandum of understanding with Capital District Transportation Authority to install new infrastructure for bus stations at the intersection of Route 50 and Geyser Road, intended to serve Saratoga Spa State Park, SPAC, and associated facilities. CDTA shall be responsible for construction costs associated with the CDTA related improvements and will reimburse the city for these related improvements not to exceed $100,000 without further approval from CDTA. Lines 1 and 2 of this budget amendment increase the Geyser Road Trail project by $100,000. I move that the City Council approve the budget amendments, capital budget, Geyser Road Trail, as included with the agenda. Following the second, we will require a roll call vote. Thank you. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank?
Aye.
Commissioner Madigan?
Aye.
Commissioner Scirocco?
Aye.
Commissioner Dalton?
Aye.
Mayor Kelly?
Aye, the matter passes.
Thank you. Which would then now bring me to my item number 5 on the agenda, which now I just have to find in my notes. Excellent. Discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign NYPA Master Cost Recovery Agreement for energy efficient streetlights. We've discussed this project for energy efficient street lighting at the last several meetings. We signed a letter of intent called an authorization to proceed, also known as an ATP, in late December, and we are now establishing the agreement required to go forward with the project. The city will bond $2.87 million, which $2,870,000, which will result in, over the course of the bond, $33,000 savings. And thereafter that, we estimate about a $300,000 savings for each year following that. NYPA has revised its template to work with the city, and we are ready to move forward with this project. NYPA has provided confirmation of insurance that meets the requirements in the contract that it signed, as well as compliance with workers' compensation. Additionally, our contract does include maintenance. NYPA will be responsible for maintenance of lights and poles. That is not a capital budget expense and will be budgeted with general operating funds. I move that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign NYPA Master Cost Recovery Agreement for energy efficient streetlights as included with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
I was glad to hear that the maintenance is, I know we had discussed it, we had talked about it, Commissioner, and I was glad to hear that it's a pretty big lift for my department to take on, additional 3,000 lights, but I like the project. I think it's a good project. And I'm glad that we're including maintenance in it.
Yeah, we had to. That was one of the things we were waiting for, was for them to actually provide a maintenance agreement.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you, Council. My final three items are budget transfers and amendments. I don't know what number it's supposed to be. 6, thank you. Discussion and vote, budget amendments benefits. Lines 1 through 2, amend the budget to cover employees' dental contributions and the amount of $3,302.64, which were not included with the adopted budget. Dental is budget neutral. Revenue and expenses are equal. I move that the City Council approve the budget amendments benefits as included with the agenda. This is a motion.
For a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Item number 7 is discussion and vote, budget transfers benefits. Lines 1 through 12, transfer appropriations to and from various sick leave lines to various Social Security lines to cover adjustment requirements to prevent deficits. Budget transfers neither increase or decrease the budget. They just reallocate the funds as needed. I move that the City Council approve budget transfers benefits as included with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Item number 8, discussion and vote, budget transfers payroll, lines 1 through 2, transfer appropriations from firefighters' wage lines to firefighters' personnel time cash in the amount of $388.93. I move the City Council approve budget transfers payroll as included with the agenda. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you, Mayor. That completes my agenda.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
On to Public Works, Commissioner Scirocco.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my agenda is discussion and vote. This is approval to pay invoices number 540-2217-699, number 540-221-9095, and number 540-217-3892 to Morton Salt in the amount of $21,441.34. The Morton Salt invoices are a total cost of $21,441.34. And the product was purchased in 2020. Due to an addressing issue, there was a delay in payment of the 3 invoices presented for council approval. They were included in the purchase order 200603. Apparently we got a purchase order in 2020, but they sent the bills to the wrong address. They sent it to 5 Lake Avenue versus 474. So therefore, I move for the approval to pay invoices 540-221-7699, 540-221-9095, and 540-217-3892 to Morton Salt in the amount of $21,441.34. And I put that in form of motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
The second item on my agenda is discussion and vote. This approval to pay invoices to Mahoney Notifier Plus Incorporated in a total amount of $4,188.65. The Mahoney invoices are a total cost of $4,188.65. Prior to 2021, the work performed by Mahoney was processed as a public works service and verbal purchase order codes was appropriate. The service provided by Mahoney has recently been identified as a professional service, as they are required to hold a license by New York State. So in order to meet the purchasing policy requirements, a formal purchase order needs to be in place, regardless of the value. The invoices reflects repairs that were needed to respective alarm systems monitored by Mahoney Alarms. Therefore, I move for the approval to pay invoices to Mahoney Notifier Plus Incorporated in the amount of $4,188.65, and I put that in form of a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
So Commissioner Sirocco, I have a different number on the agenda than you just read. I just want to make sure we're reading the right number. So I have $4,596.25.
That's on the agenda?
Yeah.
That's what I have too.
Yeah, you're right. I do have that on here.
What do you want to go with?
I don't know.
Mayor, I suggest we pass it for his amount, and then maybe during the meeting, he can get some updated information, come back to it.
So we'll pass it for your amount, Commissioner, and then if it's incorrect, come back at the end of the meeting.
Is there anything attached to the agenda that has the official amount?
I don't have the attachments in front of me.
Okay, we'll try to
Take it off. I can take it off and bring it to the next city council meeting.
No, let's just try to get it done. We'll just do this, and then we'll see if we can add it up and get the right number. And if it's right, then we're good, and if it's not, we'll move forward. Okay? All right.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes.
Third item on my agenda is discussion vote. This is authorization for the approval for a revised Canfield Casino rental agreement. Due to the COVID pandemic, events and weddings at the Canfield Casino have been canceled for over a year. Many of these cancellations were the result of state guidelines that limited large social gatherings. But with the recent easing of restriction, it is possible for events and weddings to occur again. As a result, I'm reopening the Canfield Casino this month to protect the city and those in attendance. DPW worked with Risk and Safety and the city attorney to develop COVID-specific contract language. This updated rental agreement specifies that the renter will follow all CDC and New York State Department of Health guidelines. In addition to the requirement that events follow pandemic operation guidelines, DPW will be upgrading the air filters in the casino and implementing COVID-appropriate cleaning protocols between events. This information will be uploaded to the city's website. And it's important that everyone is careful at this time, but we also need to start getting back to normal, as everybody will agree. Allowing people to have their dream weddings or event at the casino, I think, is a step in the right direction. So therefore, I move for approval for revised Canfield Casino rental agreement, and I put that in form of motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Fourth item on my agenda is just an announcement. The Department of Public Works provides curbside leaf and lawn debris pickup. Leaves, lawn clippings must be in a reusable container or paper bag and placed at the curb May 15th to September 30th. From September 30th to the first snowfall, leaves can be raked to the curb in small piles. Crews will not go on private property to retrieve or clean up leaves. Small limbs no longer than 3 feet can also be bundled and placed at the curbside. Please be sure to keep containers and limb piles to a weight manageable by one person. And again, we don't take stumps, lot clearing, we won't take that debris, tree takedowns on private property, dirt, sod, or rocks. And obviously no plastic bags and no chemical barrels. Again, I know we've gotten there's been some issues about our guys going through the streets and people containerizing and then dumping in the street and then them guys picking it up with the clam. But the idea to containerize makes a lot of sense. Number one, it keeps the debris out of the storm drains. And we have issues with storm drains there. And some of them are not live drains. Some of them are the dry wells. and the dry wells clog up real easy with the debris in the street. So, I mean, it makes it's easier for our guys to just dump them in the clam. They don't have to rake. They don't have to do anything like that. So hopefully, I know there's been a lot of people out cleaning and, picking up debris because of COVID. I know I've driven through the city, and there are some people who still are putting stuff out in the street. We're going to try to educate the public to use either the paper bags or containerized. Like I said, it makes a lot of sense to do that at this point in time, and it saves a lot of labor, for our guys, and we can get through an area a lot quicker by doing that.
Right. Great.
I suggest the public please participate in that because it makes sense for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, commissioners. Anything else?
That concludes my agenda.
Mayor, I added the 8 attachments and it came out to $4,596.25.
Okay, so we're good. Thank you, John.
Oh, I think he put it as the 411 though. I don't know if he has to redo that motion.
You want me to
just
the amount?
Change the amount to that for the number you have on the agenda, the $4,596.25.
Thank you, Commissioner.
4,500, 4,900. No,
4,596.25.
Yep.
Correct. Yep.
Yep. So let's read that motion into the record.
Yes. Change it in my notes and then.
Approval to pay invoices to Mahoney.
I want to change it in my notes too.
Yeah.
Got some new help.
That's okay.
The accountant has the adding machine, so it made it easy.
Yeah, right. Right. Okay, so it's let's see. Right here.
Your second item.
596.25. Okay. Before I move for the approval to pay invoices to Mahoney Notifier Plus in the amount of $4,900.
No, 500.
Excuse me, $4,596.25. And I put that in form of motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you for your patience.
Both Commissioner Frank and Saratoga. Anything else, sir?
That's it. I'm done.
Okay,
Thank you.
On to public safety, Commissioner Dalton.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item on my agenda is to set a public hearing, amend Chapter 225, Section 225-81 of the City Code. This is to prohibit parking at all times on both sides of Adams Road between Katy Hill Boulevard and Marcel Drive. So can we get that on the calendar for the next meeting?
Sure. You just need 6:55, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That'll be April 20th.
Excellent, thank you. The second item on my agenda is to set another public hearing to amend Chapter 225, Section 225-94 of the City Code. This is to amend alternate side of the street parking on Clinton Street from Vermont Street to Church Street. So I'll probably do that on the 20th as well.
Yeah, that'll be on the same 6:55. We'll be fine.
That'll be fine. Yep.
Perfect, thank you. The third item on my agenda is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a contract with Saratoga County for the reimbursement for COVID vaccinations. This is to allow us to be reimbursed by the county for vaccinating at pods or for the seniors who are homebound. This was the fire department who really stepped up to pitch in, and they did a pod at the senior center to vaccinate seniors there, and also have been assisting the county vaccinating homebound seniors when they can. So I just want to thank the fire department for stepping up and pitching in this vaccination effort that has been underway, and also make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the contract with Saratoga County. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you. The fourth item on my agenda is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign an MOU with Upstate Concierge Medicine PLLC. This is to allow the Saratoga Springs Fire Department to enter an agreement with Upstate Concierge Medicine and health insurers to coordinate and arrange for the delivery of virtual healthcare services for the evaluation and treatment of non-life-threatening conditions. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign an MOU with Upstate Concierge Medicine. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This is just, in my mind, the next step forward for our fire department. Telemedicine is really going to increase our capabilities and what we can do with the staff we have. So I'm really excited to be taking this step forward.
Well, I think too, Commissioner, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is when they use telemedicine now, they can collect a fee, right?
Correct.
Through from the person, because a lot of times before this came in, they wouldn't collect any fees if they refused anything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a great win for the fire department and for the community to get, right on site that telemedicine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you. The fifth item on my agenda is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign a lease agreement with RICO. This is for a copier for the police department. I'm making a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the lease agreement with RICO. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you. And the sixth item on my agenda is discussion and vote authorization for the mayor to sign an agreement with Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga Incorporated. This is for the care, feeding, cleaning, and maintenance of stables for 2 of the police department horses. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This is a really important move for our horses so we can make sure they're healthy and well taken care of as they're such a critical part of our mounted unit and our police department in total. So I'm really excited to be able to move them someplace that gives them the care they need.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter passes.
Thank you. That concludes my agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. On to Supervisor. Supervisor Veach.
Thank you, Mayor. First on my agenda is just a quick update from the Buildings and Grounds Committee. I just want to announce that today the bids and auction for the 31 Woodlawn Avenue building were opened. So that period will run from today until April 28th for interested bidders for the building. You can find information and bid on the building at the website auctionsinternational.com. That is the company that we hired for running our online auction. So if you go to that site, it'll give you instructions on what you have to do if you are interested in bidding on that building. So after that, probably in the May meeting, we will most likely have a sale, and that building will be at that point taken off the county's property list. So again, just wanted to announce that the bidding for that has started today, and you can go to auctionsinternational.com to find out more. Second on my agenda is a review or a update on the Government Review and Efficiency Committee. Just wanted to mention that we're working on 3 projects currently. The first one is the rewrite and revision of our Code of Ethics. We're doing that right now. So we are looking at various examples of other municipalities' Code of Ethics, including the cities, to get some suggestions, take some, get some advice and look at those and try to model ours against some other communities that have effective codes of ethics. The Code of Ethics in Saratoga County has not been modified or changed since 1990, so it's been a while. It's about time that we do that. So that's the first project that we're working on, and hopefully we will have some update on that shortly. The second is consolidating and looking through our local laws and our county code. We are going to do a small contract with a company called eCode 360 to put together our local laws, try to get them updated. The last time we did it was in around 2010 timeframe. So anything since then has not been recorded, and it's been recorded at the county, but not put into a code. So we are going to have them come and update our county code. So that will be good for us to have that done. And then the third item is working on records management and retention. We had a small meeting of some of our committee and other departments at Saratoga County to look at where our records are kept in the county, which is was currently the old jail. Originally, Saratoga County Jail was actually located on the county complex in Ballston Spa. in a building toward the back of the complex. And when the jail was moved to its current location, the old jail was then used for record storage and records management. And so we were up there. Supervisor Gaston was there with us, and we got to see how where our records are stored. So I don't think it was as bad as we thought it was going to be. So that was a good thing, but it was not as good as it could be. So we are going to try to see what we can do about that going forward. One of the things we talked about at our meeting last week was looking at other communities and how they do records management and record storage. And the city came up. And so I am reaching out to Commissioner Frank to see if we can see how the city does it, because we'll take any help we can get when it comes to doing that. And I know you've done a lot with records management over the years, Commissioner. And we'd like to see how the city does that, as well as other counties and how they manage things. We hear some other counties, such as Tompkins and Warren, actually have a really good records management program. So we'd like to get some advice and maybe get that in order for us as well. So that's pretty much it for that item. And again, that's it for my agenda. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Gaston.
Thank you. The first item on my agenda is a COVID-19 update. Currently, we sit at about 3.2% 7-day rolling positivity. We continue to very slowly creep up, and we are likely to see a bump after spring break and the spring holidays. So our vaccination numbers are looking great. We've got at least 40% of our community, the county as a whole, has at least one dose, and 26.5% has completed the series. That's well above both the New York State and United States averages. However, again, we're creeping up. So it's very important for people to continue distancing, masks, etc. I know the weather is getting very nice and we're all going outside, but we all need to continue to follow that guidance as we do it. We currently have, we've had one more death in the county, and we currently sit at 23 hospitalizations for COVID-19. So it's a reminder to follow the guidelines and stay careful. Today was the first day that 16 and 17-year-olds are now eligible to get the COVID vaccine. Unfortunately, the county did not receive any allocation of Pfizer vaccine, which is the only vaccine currently approved for administration for 16 and 17-year-olds. A lot of the state sites have it. We also do normally get it on a weekly basis. And our interest list has changed to reflect the fact that 16 and 17-year-olds are eligible. So if you have a 16 and 17-year-old that's interested, we do require parental permission, and we also will not force a 16 or 17-year-old to get the vaccine just because the parent wants it. As a parent, I know that can be frustrating, but 16 and 17-year-olds do have some medical decision-making power in New York State. So if you have any questions, you can reach out or call the public health department to make sure you have everything that you need. But that's the next step in making sure that our schools are safe come this fall. There are some studies looking right now as young as 6 months, but I think the 12 to 15-year-old is probably most likely to occur the soonest. So hopefully by the summer, we can get all these kids vaccinated and back to school full time. I know we're all looking forward to that. The last thing with our vaccination program is we're delighted to have started continuing the food pantry vaccinations with our partners in the community to make sure that those who have significant barriers get access. They often require transportation and translation assistance, so it's even more intensive than our ordinary pods, but it's a delight, and our public health staff is really always buoyed by the good feelings and being able to assist these individuals. As well, we're starting a farm workers program, and we have partnered with 18 farms around Saratoga County to make sure that our farm workers and farm staff have access to it as well. So we are working to make sure that everyone gets vaccinated as quickly as possible, ideally through Saratoga County, but if you sign up with our list, we'll connect you with a vaccine wherever we can do that. The second item on my agenda is just an update from the Health Committee as a whole. It is National Public Health Week, although I kind of feel like 2020 and 2021 have been National Public Health years. But it is a week where we kind of recognize the hard work of our public health department. And I certainly appreciate all they do, including answering refrigerator and freezer alarms at 2 o'clock in the morning to make sure that our vaccines are shipped to another storage facility when our freezer crashes. So yes, they work very hard to make sure that they can do as much as they can. And, obviously it's not just the COVID vaccines, but we also inoculate for measles, travel vaccines, other TB tests and that sort of thing. Those are all kept in the freezers that we have at public health department. So when that went out, it was quite the hurdle to make sure that all got taken care of and that all of those vaccines were safe and secure, which they did. We did not have to get rid of a single dose of vaccine, particularly COVID vaccine, as a result of temperature. And they've replaced the freezer. Everything's good now. Do you have a question, Commissioner Dalton?
I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted to say thank you to your whole department, because literally every single person I know that I've directed to your eligible list has been vaccinated, which is so great to hear. And I just wanted to thank you for being so efficient and timely with getting vaccinations out to people who have signed up for that list. So thank you. I was really, really impressed.
It's definitely taking longer than public health would like to, because we're not getting the vaccines that we would like to get allocated to Saratoga County, but they're working hard. And I can tell you that Commissioner Cools, Dr. Cools, I guess to prevent confusion, whenever he hears about vaccine available in the community or through Albany, he snatches it up. We actually had to have a discussion about whether it was worth it to drive 5 hours to get 100 doses. It's always worth it, in his opinion.
I think he's right. And I want to thank you too, because, I missed my second dose because of the prednisone that I was on. And I probably got 3 or 4 phone calls, making sure I got my second shot. I did get my second shot, but they were right on top of it. I mean, really right on top of it, as were you, Supervisor. So, if they were that on top of it for me, and of course I was nervous, I was panicking because there's such a small window. I'd already had my first shot, right? You want to make sure you get that second shot. I think they're doing good work on behalf of everyone in the county. So thank you.
Well, I am very proud of the work that they are doing. They are working very hard. On that note, there's going to be continued work because they're increasing. We're having to expand the health department to a full service Department of Health. I do have to say thank you to the Public Safety Department. We've had some members already reach out to make sure that we're coordinating and working together as we expand and continue a relationship. At the last committee meeting, we also discussed the potential. Discussed a potential social center with transitional. It's now RISE, but it was Transitional Services. They're looking to create something like the old Friendship House that existed, sort of a low barrier social environment where individuals can become acquainted with services that may be offered, where they're not quite ready for full day services or more structured services. Our county mental health department has been working with them on this. Supervisor Veach and myself have both been working with them to plan this out. And I look very much forward to the county approving some of that funding to expand services in our community. And I will be donating a foosball table because that's my favorite game. We're very much looking forward to that, because I think that will be, there's a population that isn't quite ready for more structured treatment programs, either mental health or addiction services. And this is a low barrier access that will allow them safety, security, and some assistance. They're also working with other agencies in our area, like Pitney Farms. They're going to be developing a commercial kitchen. It will be able to be used by individuals who are considering small food businesses, like if they want to do jams or pies or that sort of thing. They're also going to be able to use it to help teach people how to cook who may not have had access to their own kitchen or to cooking in their family. So I think it's going to be a great benefit to our community, and really looking forward to it, and appreciate them for all of their work and pushing for it. And another program that we're working on is with the schools, including, I have to say, our Saratoga Springs City Schools were the first to pop up. Dr. Prezioso and Dr. Cools wanted to connect with our schools to do some mental health work in the schools. COVID has obviously had an impact on them. And Dr. Patton was the first superintendent. I believe he may have tried to jump through the screen in order to engage these, both our mental health and public health departments. So I know that's been a big concern of mine as a parent and of our schools in general, the mental health services. So we're working at it from both the student side and also the adult side. The last piece I will say with regards to the marijuana legislation, the cities do have the ability to opt out of both dispensaries and consuming on site. But one of the things that I'm quite happy about with the legislation is it provides a certain amount of the tax dollars that go directly to education and research for both prevention of use in underage individuals, but also to develop testing to better determine when someone is driving impaired. There's currently no real good testing for that, although it does remain illegal to drive while impaired, whether it's alcohol, marijuana, or any other substance. The legislation did expand the number of medical conditions that could be covered under the medical marijuana usage. And it also allows other things like smoking in public and home grow, but a lot of those are pushed out a couple of years. So obviously the council, if you need any assistance, since the county looked at this before, because previous indications of the legislation had county opt-outs, I'm sure that our county staff would be happy to help with any.
Public is legal currently. So if you see someone walking down the street smoking, it is currently legal as far as our police department.
So smoking marijuana is currently legal where you can smoke tobacco.
Correct.
However, the city can limit that, and it's also not able to be smoked wherever you can't smoke tobacco now. So you can't smoke it inside a restaurant, near schools, certain government buildings, etc. But yes, that is correct. It's also legal to possess 3 ounces. Another thing that's really great that now that the legislation is passed, I look forward to talking to Commissioner Dalton and any other council member interested. I have been approached by some delivery services that are specifically there to help minimize the risk of impaired driving. And so they wanted to reach out. They don't do government contracts. They just want to discuss with governments what's available so that the council and the county government have an educated understanding of the potentials before you make any decisions on local laws, et cetera. The last item on my agenda is just from the Tech and Resiliency Committee. We're looking forward to doing some updates for the county website. All of my committee members, including Supervisor Veach, got some homework to look at municipal websites that we think are particularly useful. If there are any functions that any member of the public or the council here feel would be particularly useful on our county website, please let me know. Before we consider an RFP or any changes to our provider, we're looking at what it is that we're looking to do to see whether we can handle it in-house with the contracts we already have. And the last thing is that we will be working on resiliency plans. The committee itself chose to focus on our county government's resiliency and how well we respond to crises. However, I will be building a public committee that will work on resiliency in the county as a whole, because I think that's also a really important topic, both in general, but also as our health department builds itself. We want to see what input and what concerns there are in the community. So if anyone is interested in that, they're welcome to reach out. And I will be putting out some interest forums so that anyone who may be interested in participating in that can do so. And obviously records are part of our resiliency, because one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is the county's required to hold a lot of records forever, including adoption records and deeds. So when you think of it, it's not just your tax rolls. It's also if there was ever an adoption in Saratoga County, we have it somewhere in a cardboard box. And Nancy Wagner's amazing. So I definitely offered her up. So thank you for having such an incredible staff member who can assist with this. And that concludes my agenda.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other business from the council? Then we are adjourned. Have a safe night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.